16 years ago and one day, the number one song in America was Love in This Club by Usher. The number one movie at the box office was Horton Hears a Who for a whopping $7.18. And 16 years ago and one day, it was the start, or it was the last WSU round of 32 win. I'm Emmett Bryz-Gornia alongside Davis Hagen. Let's talk about that game in 2008 a little bit more. WSU went up against Notre Dame on March 22nd, 2008. WSU a little bit different in the seeding 16 years ago. They were a 4 going up against a 5, 61-41. Derek Lowe had the team high in 22 points. Notable alum on that starting lineup was Aaron Baines, who won an NBA championship with the San Antonio Spurs in 2014. Davis, let's turn the pages, though, to now. What's a player to focus on during this game for Washington State?
Well, it's Isaac Jones. He's been the man all season, and he's going to be the man again tonight if we get a win. He was a Pac-12 first-team selection, over 1,000 career points in February. He had 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists against Drake. He's going to need to have another huge night against Iowa State if the Cougars want to be moving on to the Sweet 16.
Okay, let's keep flipping this book into our current opponent in Iowa State. Who do we need to watch for, and who do you think will be saying a lot of their name tonight?
Well, it's got to be Milan Momcilovic. This is a little bit different for any Iowa State people that aren't listening because they're not here. It's a guy that really has come on strong this season. We normally talk about Trey King and Keyshawn Gilbert if you're looking at Iowa State, but Milan Momcilovic is a guy that is so electrifying as just a freshman. He was a Big 12 all-freshman team, scored over 2,000 points in high school, 19 points as the leading scorer against South Dakota State in the first round. He's dangerous, and if he gets hot, Washington State could be in some serious trouble tonight.
ESPN has us at a 14% chance at winning this game tonight. How do we stretch those odds a little bit, Davis? And as we look at your Hagen's highlights for WSU to maybe sneak a win out.
It starts with controlling the glass. We are the tallest starting lineup in the NCAA, and we need to get rebounds against Iowa State's defense, who is number 2 in defensive efficiency in the nation. That's out of 362 teams. They are number 2 at 87.5 points per possession for the other team. So they only give about 87.5 points per 100 possessions. That's phenomenal. If we can get rebounds, we've been doing a good job of getting offensive rebounds. We need to work on our defensive rebounding as a team. Spread the wealth. That means get more people involved than just Wells and Jones. They were the only 2 double-figure scorers in the first round matchup against Drake. Wells had 17, Jones had 20. We need everybody to step up and probably score in double figures in the starting lineup. We have to be smart. Iowa State is 20-3 when forcing at least 15 plus turnovers, and they are 11-1 when forcing 20 turnovers. Against Drake, we had 11 turnovers. Drake is not nearly the same team as Iowa State. We cannot be silly and turn the ball over.
You didn't talk about Trey King, and if you're an Iowa State fan, you know that that's the name that they've been calling all year long. Trey King likes this matchup specifically because of the length and the physicality in Isaac Jones. So I want to give you a chance to maybe elaborate a little bit more on what Trey King brings to this defensive front and what WSU needs to work on to maybe combat that tonight.
The thing about Trey King is he's a phenomenal post player, and he's not all that big, but he's so skilled and knows exactly where to be. The positioning on Iowa State's defense and their rotations is what makes them so great. Drake tried to do the same thing. When we enter the ball down low to Isaac Jones, and he's going to turn and face, there was a double team coming, but Connor Enright was the guy that they sent for Drake, and he was slapping the guy's arm every single time, and that's a foul. Iowa State does the same thing, but it's a turnover. Almost every single time they come in, they poke the ball away. They drill that. They work on that. That's their MO, is forcing turnovers for the big man, and they're out and running, getting dunks.
As we start to get into this game a little bit, we're going to take a quick break, set some things up on the live stream here, but don't go anywhere. It is some great March basketball. I'm Emmett Bryz-Gornia alongside Davis Hagen. You're listening to Cable 8. Make sure to like, review, subscribe, go in the comments. There's going to be some folks in there entering some stuff in the chat, and we can't wait to call this game for you. All right, we'll be right back. Go Cougs. All right, we are back here live streaming on Cable 8. Hello to the folks that are on the stream. Let's talk about the starting lineups real quick. For Washington State, you have Jalen Wells, Miles Rice, Isaac Jones, Andre Yakimovsky, and Oscar Clough. And for Iowa State, the names you might not be quite familiar with. You have Trey King. He's number 0. He's a forward senior, 6'7", 230 pounds from Lexington, Kentucky. You have Tamin Lipsey. Tamin is number 3. He is a guard, sophomore, 6'1", 200 pounds from Ames, Iowa. You have Keyshawn Gilbert. He's a guard. He's a junior, 6'4", 200 pounds from St. Louis, Missouri. You have Robert Jones in number 12. He's a forward senior, 6'10", Davis, 255 pounds from Prior Lake, Minnesota. And rounding it out, you have number 22, Milan Momcilovic, forward, freshman, 6'8", 230 pounds from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Rounding it out is head coach TJ Otzelberger. Starting lineups, how do you feel so far? We have a 14% chance at winning this game in the eyes of ESPN, but we all know ESPN can be wrong sometimes. How do you gauge our success tonight?
It's all going to start in the first 4 minutes. If we come out starting hot, we're going to be fine. If we come out and let Iowa State jump all over us, it's going to be a long night in Omaha. The crowd is all Iowa State. It's only a 2.5-hour drive from Ames, Iowa to Omaha, Nebraska. It has to be early and often for Washington State, and you cannot let Iowa State get out and running because the chances that you're going to score enough to beat them are slim. And if you let them get out to a 10-0 run or a 12-0 run, it could be game over early.
Well, we talked about it earlier beforehand in the pregame about Yakimovsky saying to Greg Woods, who is the beat writer for the Spokesman, he said that his shoulder pain is like a 7 to an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. And mainly it's coming from ball screens, and he can only get it up a certain distance. What do you need to be concerned about that moving forward in this game?
My concern is that he mentioned that in the press conference. Like, what are you doing saying your shoulder's injured? The other team's going to come at you hard. Unless, he's the toughest guy, which he's a really, really tough player.
Oh, yeah.
So if it's a 7-8 on his scale, that is not good. But Iowa State's going to target that. I would watch for a lot of ball screens on Yakimovsky from Big Rob Energy. He can bring a boom. And honestly, I'm just going to be excited to see how we battle back. I mean, it was a tough game against Drake, and we ended up winning it. But Drake ended up kind of losing that game, and as much as we won it, Iowa State's a different beast.
Robert Jones, number 12 for Iowa State. His nickname is Big Rob Energy. So if we say that, that is going to be what we're referring to, because there's also Isaac Jones on our side of the court, and we'll be saying it as we tip things off. WSU gets it starting as Miles Rice brings the ball all the way back almost to the baseline before he meanders his way on the other side of the court. He's having a good little setup there, gives it to Clough out to Yakimovsky now. They're just kind of hanging around that three-point line, finding a play design with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Rice does not have much time, drives down in the lane, he makes the extra pass, makes it, and that is going to be a foul on Iowa State. Hopefully that did not hit Jones's eye as he was kind of in distress coming down to the floor.
Yeah, it's going to be a foul on Trey King. And he did a really good job of rotating over, but Jones was in front of him that time instead of on the backside. Iowa State likes to have their guys in front so they can't have easy passing lanes and early fouls, and that's what we were talking about. Jones is going to be a great matchup on King, but if he gets to the foul trouble, that's not going to be good for Iowa State because he's going to be on the bench.
As Jones makes the first, he draws fouls even when he's not trying to, so it's a little bit surprising that Iowa State is being so aggressive as he makes the second. Thoughts so far? I mean, we're barely into this.
The first possession was good. Take the shot clock all the way down and get it inside. That was perfect. That's exactly what you want to do.
As Iowa State is now bringing it up, Trey King passing it out to Keyshawn, who's now finding Lipsky down low, puts it up. Andre there to block it, though. Iowa State gets the rebound. Milan takes the shot. It does not go down. Wells is there to get the rebound, bringing it back the other way. He's on the far left wing, passing it to Jones, who's on the logo. Back to Rice, who's on the near wing, making his way kind of center. So they're liking that little center area. It makes sense. You're on the center side of the court. You're just trying to get something scheming with 9 seconds left. Clough gets the back door, does not get it to go falling down, though, in the bucket. Clones bring it back the other way. Keyshawn Gilbert getting a little bit physical with Rice. Rice is very pressed. That was an interesting screen from Iowa State. Off ball. Rebound from the Cyclones, but Isaac Jones is there to get that steal and bring it back the other way. Wells on that near wing, trying to set something up. Kind of finds a lane, puts it up, tries to get it in the basket. He does put 2 more on the board for the Cougs.
Yeah, good start so far, getting rebounds. Even though they gave up a rebound to Robert Jones, they were there and with pressure, and he forces a really bad turnover for Iowa State. So far, so good for the Cougars on the defensive side.
Cyclones, nice tip from Miles Rice, but it's going to be out on the Cougs, slowing pace down. He's a little bit gingery. We still don't know anything about that ankle. How drastic could that be a detriment for us tonight?
I think the good news is we haven't heard anything, so it's probably not a big deal. Could have been a cramp. We have no idea what it was, but he did leave the game against Drake, but he looks fine right now.
Milan pulls up from the line. Does not get it to fall down. Yakimovsky there to swallow that pill back in and bringing it back the other way. Wells takes a shot from the wing. It bounces off the rim. Not too kind tonight for the Cougs. Not too kind for anyone tonight. There's a lot of shots going up, but not coming back down. Nice pressure from Rice, who's on Keyshawn, trying to pull it up. A lot of beaks and bops and trying to fall down. Yeah, Jones comes away with the rebound, though. Great aggressive. Nice defensive rebound. They're what, number 1 in the Pac-12 on that defensive rebound. Jones is a large in part for that, as Miles Rice is kind of orchestrating it. Jones on the off-ball screen. They try to double-team Rice. Yakimovsky on the wing shakes the shot. It bounces off unkindly, but it's going to be out on Iowa State, so WSU will still have possession of the ball.
Well, a really good thing on that last possession, Gilbert spun to the basket, and Clough actually came over and got a piece of the ball. Clough is not necessarily our best defensive post player. That would be Chinyelu. Clough did a really good job of not initiating with the body, letting the ball go up in the air and blocking the shot and not blocking the man.
Iowa State slowing pace now, kind of seeming a lot like WSU trying to control the tempo here, as that is unsuccessful. Clough with a great block. Yakimovsky bringing it back down the other way. Wells is now slowing down pace, trying to find an open man. He's on that near wing, passes it out to Rice, who's on the March M of the logo. Trying to maybe meander his way, double step, passes out to Yakimovsky on the far wing. He's spinning around, trying to drive down in the lane. He doesn't get out of bounds. He passes it to Wells on the far corner, makes himself to the wing, and he looks at the crowd as he nails it down. Iowa State has yet to score yet with 16 minutes left in the first. 7-0 here inside Omaha. This is very surprising.
Nearly still, wow. Rice really aggressive.
As Keyshawn trying to find an open man. He makes a dumb pass, but Yakimovsky's there trying to drive down the lane. Euro step, makes the extra pass. Doesn't hit Wells, but it's out on Iowa State, and that will force a timeout, and the Cougs are hyped as they let Iowa State with a goose egg on the board. That is very surprising, Davis.
Yeah, flipping the script on the Cyclones right now, 7-0. It's typically the other way. Iowa State gets out to pretty hot starts. We saw it in the Big 12 championship game. They jumped on Houston early and never looked back. Washington State's doing a really good job of being unselfish and spreading the wealth. That's exactly what we talked about in the open. And right now, Yakimovsky, instead of taking that opportunity on the last one, swings it out to Wells, and he takes a really, really good step-back three. It's a tough shot, but Wells can make that almost with his eyes closed.
Yeah, well, and he kind of did. Yakimovsky, we talked about him being injured. How are you feeling about that? Yeah.
I personally, right now, it's fine. They haven't really set that many ball screens on him, and I don't know if maybe it's going to be tough to see as the game goes on. There's a lot of adrenaline out there for sure, so that can really help you. But it's going to be tough to see how long he can stay in the game if they do start hitting him hard on some of these screens. If they do screen him and he gets hit, how many hits can he take?
Well, this is going to be all interesting. Again, it's 7-0 with 15:55 left to go in the game. We're going to be right back, take a little short break, but here's some tunes for you. And we are back inside the river that divides the two great states of Nebraska and Iowa, Omaha.
That's right.
This is crazy. We were walking around. There's great candy shops. There's some interesting parts of town that we found ourselves in.
Yeah.
But overall, great, lovely city as Yakimovsky is about to inbound. Any thoughts?
Well, just let's watch this fantastic basketball game we got.
Yakimovsky on the near wing, making his way to center court, trying to now orchestrate the offense. Clough on the off-ball screen, double team on Yakimovsky to Jones to Wells, who's on that far wing. He's trying to pivot, making his way down in the paint. Miles Rice wide open for the three-point shot. It does not get to go fall down. Iowa State getting the rebound. Clones bringing it back the other way, passing out. Miles Rice get the tip on it. Loose ball. And is that going to be a foul on Iowa State? It just might be. The fans are reacting it that way. Coug fans are very happy. Curtis Jones is going to be attributed with that. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Curtis Jones is a really good player, 6'4". He's going to be a good matchup. I mean, we're a lot taller than he is, but he's a really quick athlete, so good job to get a foul. I mean, just initiating contact really well by Washington State's offense.
The rematch of the Alamo Bowl of 2016, Iowa State versus WSU for its basketball this time, as Clough makes a mishap with his hands, passes it back out Milan to his corner three buddy. That does not get to go down, and it'll be a foul on the Cougs, I believe, on number 24, Hassan Ward.
Yep.
6'9". He's a tall fella, the senior.
He's definitely the guy that can come in for Robert Jones if he does, or Trey King even, if either of those guys gets in foul trouble or doesn't have a good game. Clough picking up an early foul, not necessarily the best thing. But Iowa State, even though they make the free throw, has not made a field goal yet, and we've already done the first media timeout. This is very impressive defense for Washington State.
Yeah, they just put their final first score up on the board. It's 7-1. Kind of, I don't know, it's like a lopsided soccer match inside here.
Yeah.
As the post trade from Winsu to Jones. Jones on that far post. Winsu now on the near post. Getting set up, having those big bodies there to get that rebound. And it doesn't matter as Wells gets it. Now bringing it back the other way. Only 1 point for Iowa State. This is very eye-opening right now as Jones is on that far wing, trying to orchestrate traffic to Wells to tell him to go down low. Yakimovsky to Rice to Wells, who's on that corner three shot. It does not get to fall. Ward on the rebound for Iowa State.
Really good ball movement by Washington State, swinging it all the way around the horn. Extra passes and spreading the wealth is going to be a key all night long.
Keyshawn Gilbert orchestrating it, but now it's seemingly a team atmosphere. Pass to pass to pass to pass. Keyshawn Gilbert back with the ball. Ward now trying to set things up, but this is a very interesting defensive look. It keeps shifting as Iowa State, Lipsy takes the shot. It does not fall. It hits the rim, so it's not a shot clock violation, but the Cougs get it anyways. Miles Rice bringing it back the other way. Wow, fast pace. Wells takes the three-point shot from the wing. It does not fall. Ward there again to get that rebound. I think Iowa State doesn't know how to handle this interesting defense from Washington State.
Yeah, it's very interesting. A little matchup zone.
And the first three-pointer goes down for the Cyclones. It's Curtis Jones that gets it to happen. 7-4 inside CHI Health Center.
Washington State needs to take the time off the clock on this possession. They cannot let Iowa State get a turnover here. This crowd is really into it.
Wow, they have erupted as that was a...
It's going to be out of bounds off of Iowa State. Everyone wanted a charge.
I thought it was going to be a charge, and that's when I heard the whistle. I was waiting for it. But no, it is going to just be out of bounds on Iowa State. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm surprised. There has to be a call there. It's either a block or a charge. There's just nothing. I mean, it can't be nothing. It has to be at least a block.
Wells kind of lucky on that as Rice gets the inbounds. Winsu now holding the rock, passes it out to Yakimovsky to Rice on that corner. He breaks himself on the near wing, trying to find an open lane. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Jumper, it goes down for Jones, 9-4.
Absolutely great possession of offense. Get the crowd silencer, but not forcing any shots. Rice knew he was going to get blocked by Robert Jones, so he dumps it off to Isaac Jones, for a really easy shot.
Curtis Jones now in possession, giving it to Robert Jones. Keeping up with the Joneses is a little bit difficult for me as it just is going to everyone with the last name of J. And Winsu falls down. Wow. I think that'll be Iowa State's ball coming from that. Thoughts?
Well, Milan Momcilovic has checked back into the game. Have to keep your eye on him. He's a guy that can get really hot.
Iowa State, as you talk about Milan Momcilovic going over the court, resetting things, slowing it down. This is interesting pace from Iowa State. Gilbert drives in the lane, does not get it to fall down. Jones gets that rebound. It doesn't go out of bounds. Wow, that was a lucky call. That official was not in perfect placement, and so Cougs got to be lucky on that one. Hopefully the luck does not run out for WSU. Jones pulls up the jumper. It does not fall. Big zero. Trey King gets that rebound for the Clones.
Not a bad possession, just does not get the shot to fall.
Gilbert trying to make his way there. Curtis Jones pulls up from that little shot clock area. Yakimovsky getting the rebound.
Not a bad job on defense, but you have to keep your feet. Winsu jumped at the first shot, pump fake by Curtis Jones. Got to stay on your feet.
Yakimovsky trying to drive into that corner, double teamed. Winsu out to Wells, who finds the open man. Rice is on that near wing, tries to take that shot on the top of the key, and he gets it to fall down. WSU's in double digits.
Great crossover by Miles Rice to create separation. He's really good acceleration. That's one of the things that his best attributes is that acceleration.
Good screen from Iowa State. Gilbert taking that shot. It does not fall, and it's out on Iowa State. And that'll be another. Is this a media timeout, or was that
just
a
media timeout?
This is a media timeout.
The under 12. Yeah, so if everyone doesn't know, every 4 minutes there will be a media timeout. So that's at 16, 12, 8, and 4. And after the first whistle, after it expires from 12, we're at 11:34 right now. So anytime after 12, there will be a media timeout.
So for the folks that are at home, they're probably watching. What were our commercials? It was Ozempic. Caitlin for the NCAA.
Invesco QQQ.
And then the nice lady from 30 Rock. So we're going to take a break, though. We're going to give you some music. You can mute your TV screen still. You're listening to the Cable 8 broadcast inside Omaha, Nebraska, inside the CHI Health Center Arena. 11-4, WSU is up by 7 points, Davis. We'll be right back. As always, go Cougs. And we are back inside the Midwest. It is WSU 11, Iowa State 4. Davis, let's describe this. We know what Iowa State's defense is. I'm going to let you say what it is. But after you describe what Iowa State's defense is, can you tell the viewers at home what exactly WSU is doing to keep Iowa State on 4 points with we're almost at 10 minutes gone in the first half, and they only have 4 points on the board?
Yeah, well, for starters, Iowa State's defense is a man-to-man with intense ball pressure.
Okay.
So it's just pretty standard defense, except for they just hound you and they're just locked up to their man. For Washington State, it's a matchup zone. So they're going to start in a 2-3 or 1-3-1, and then as soon as it enters basically past the free throw line extended into the closer to the basket, they're going to match up on a man, and a double team could come, and it's really causing some confusion for Iowa State.
I'm confused you just describing it. Are they doing it during the possession? Or
Yeah, so you start in the 2-3 zone, and once the ball gets to a certain guy, then you match up whoever's closest to you.
Miles Rice hands it off to Winsu. Winsu finds the back door to Clough, who puts it up. It doesn't go down before he is hand checked, so that will send him to the line. Or no, that's just gonna be a hand check.
On the
floor,
Yep.
and so WSU's gonna get the inbound there. Iowa State's defense is ranked number 2 in the nation, Davis.
Yeah.
It's not looking like it right now.
No,
as
absolutely.
the Cougs are kind of picking it apart. Winsu
Yep,
finds
there's a
it.
turnover.
As soon as I say that, broadcaster's jinx, as Iowa State gets the steal there. But they were kind of discombobulated even with that as WSU gets ready for the defense.
They were able to get back in time with Momcilovic having to go back and retrieve that ball in the backcourt. It's allowed them to set up their defense.
Lipsy finds number 12, who is Robert Jones. Big Bob energy.
Big Rob energy.
Big Rob energy. I know it for something else, but I'm glad that he's got his nickname and he's found his own true calling.
Yes.
Rice getting the double team. He's getting really crammed in there. Finds Wells. Open man is Yakimovsky for the three-point shot. It goes down. Take advantage of it, and he throws the three up into the sky.
That was one of the best plays I've seen Miles Rice make, and he didn't even make that special of a play. He just didn't lose the ball. He was really strong with it. The pressure was on him, and he did a great job getting the ball out.
I don't know if this is heaven or Ames, Iowa. I just don't know. It's a home atmosphere for the Cyclones. They're undefeated at home, but yet they're struggling here as Clough has the one-on-one matchup with the big man. He puts it up. It does not get to go down in that low post. Wells there to get the rebound for the Cougs.
The other thing is Iowa State's just missing shots. Everything they're putting up is not going, and Washington State's doing a really good job on the defensive rebounds, blocking out and just attacking the ball.
They're doing that double team again on Rice, but they leave Yakimovsky wide open for that three-point shot on the wing. It does not go falling down, but there is Chinyelu getting that rebound, bringing it back out to Rice, resetting up the play design behind the back. He kind of calms things down a little bit. 10 seconds left to go on the shot clock. Wells trying to pull up that three. It goes up. It does not go down. Clones bringing it back the other way.
Yeah, really good job by Wells. Did a good job of getting in step back. He made one earlier, but that one just doesn't go down. He's got to keep shooting those.
Keyshawn Gilbert orchestrating this Iowa State offense, trying to draw that foul. Very exaggerated, and he does get it. Is that a shooting foul, or are they calling it on the floor?
Calling on the floor.
Okay, because he was trying to make that motion as if he was shooting it, but I don't think he was quite successful.
No.
So Iowa State will have it on the scorer's table for the inbound.
I'd like to see Watts checking into this game, get more shooting, because I think when you put Winsu in, you're on the defensive side minded-wise.
Yeah.
But now that you realize, hey, we're playing some good defense, let's maybe put Watts in there for some more offense. I think it's a really smart move by Coach Kyle Smith.
Cyclones very slow on the movement. Lipsy trying to find someone, does find it, and big man Ward, who's out making those extra passes. They're hanging around that three-point line. Dunk for Iowa State. What a slam! That is going to be Ward, who it was kind of lull. It was a silencing, and then they just came in there and slammed it, and the crowd is reacting to it. Jones on the far wing to Yakimovsky with the handoff. He gets a tip on there, but he regains control. Watts goes up for the three. It is short. Cyclones bringing it back the other way. Gilbert on the other side. Milan trying to get down there on that post. Pulls up. It does not fall. Watts is there for the defensive rebound. Yakimovsky slowing it down now.
Momcilovic is a great shooter, and that time missed the shot, but those are the opportunities that he's going to take every time. He's such a crafty player.
Rice almost getting double, and that is a foul. You were talking about it earlier, how Drake was applying that pressure, but they weren't quite as clean as Iowa State is. Now Iowa State making that mistake on the smaller end of the guard. He's the smallest guy on our starting lineup at 6'3".
Yeah.
I mean, that's just that's a tall human being to the rest of the public. Tallest starting lineup in NCAA. Do you think that has been having an effect? They were talking about how they loved the big, lengthy bodiness in the Big 12. Doesn't seem like it right now.
No, I think it's a different atmosphere in the tournament. It just feels it's a new season. Every game is a new season. Washington State is a little bit frightening to watch because they kind of make you, like, your heart hurt when you watch them play because they're just a little bit inconsistent, but they just get the job done. And it's kind of the same way for Iowa State. And I think they're kind of getting out of their rhythm because shots aren't falling, so they're being overly aggressive on defense. They're an aggressive defensive team, don't get me wrong. But there's a difference between being aggressive and fouling, and right now Iowa State's kind of reaching in too much because they're trying to force the action because offensively their shots aren't falling.
14-8 with 8 minutes left to go in the first. We're not at halftime yet, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but if you're in the huddle right now, what is Coach TJ saying to the fellas on how to just get some points up on the board against WSU?
Got to stay under control and not force the action. It's the same thing for Washington State. Don't force anything. If you force things in this tournament, bad things happen. You just have to let the game come to you.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks. We'll see if they can successfully do that. You're listening to Cable 8 live broadcast. Hi to the folks on the stream. So lovely to have you with us. Keep on saying good stuff in there. We can't see it on our end because we want to keep this graphic and whatnot. But if you have any questions, there's going to be some moderators in there. And thank you so much for joining us, though. This is WSU, Iowa State 14-8. 8 minutes left to go. Go Cougs. And we are back. Davis, what do you think of Omaha? And that's what the viewers can see this. They're hearing what we say. Well, how would you describe Omaha to them?
Omaha is an interesting city because it's got like a big city feel, but it's a pretty rural place because right outside our hotel room there's a cornfield, but we are in Council Bluffs, Iowa. But it's a nice place. It's I don't want to maybe live here, but it's a nice place to come for a tournament like this.
Very similar to Pullman. We talked about it at the last broadcast as Wells is on the double team, and he tried to pass it out to Rice. Rice couldn't grab that pass, and it goes out of bounds. There's going to be Iowa State ball. That 6'3" frame is now kind of showing.
Yeah, it's just you can't rocket it over his head. I mean, if he was 6'7", that still probably would have gone out of bounds.
Really been loving Omaha so far. The grocery stores are very interesting with the food selection, like pineapple sorbet. It's you don't think you'll find it here in Omaha, but you just do. if you keep looking for it. And I think that's what with this, as they find the foul, refs are going to be attributed. I think that's
Watts. Yeah, he's really aggressive. Watts has had a problem this season with fouling in a short amount of times. In the game against Colorado, he played less than 1 minute. On the official stat sheet, he played 0 minutes with 1 personal foul and 1 turnover. So he's got to be less aggressive. He does want to go get those steals, but you got to be under control.
He's a flashy guy. He's wearing a different shoe today with the purple. As Iowa State drives down in the lane, gets that shot to go up. That's going to be Gilbert. That's going to get 2 more on the board. They're now in double digits, 14-10, with 7 minutes left to go in this game. Rice is on the far wing, trying to set it up. It's a loud atmosphere inside here. He drives in the lane. Clough there to get that rebound.
That's going to be offensive goaltending on Clough. You can't hit the ball when it's over the cylinder. If it's still hanging on the rim, you can't touch it. And Clough, in European basketball, that's fair game, but Clough cannot do that. That's going to be an offensive goaltend. Pretty good call by the refs that time to catch that in live action.
We'll have to find out if they can do that in Australia, too. The Aussie is doing that. That's why we Clough, that is. Yeah, that's very apparent as they do the replay up on the board. Iowa State drives down on the lane, though. I was even lulled into a lure, but they just need to be very quick and attack, kind of like a tornado warning. Once you hear that warning, you need to go to the shelter fast, and that's what these Cyclones have been doing down in the paint. Jones to Wells, who's inside the key, right above that free throw line, does make it to go down. That's 16-12 inside. 6:30. Gilbert passes it out to Milan, who finds Curtis Jones. Back out to Lipsy. Finds it down low is Gilbert. Oh, Jones is going to be attributed with the block. Didn't give him any space. He wasn't even looking at him, but that elbow did enough.
Yeah, pretty good play that time for Iowa State, but if you're a Washington State fan, that's just gotta be. We talked about being under control. Rice flies over the top of him, and then Jones just body checks him. And that's gonna be a foul every single time. I don't know what the deal with basketball players is when they go to block shots every time. If Rice is 6'3", you're not gonna block Keyshawn Gilbert's shot. I just don't understand why you're jumping.
As Gilbert makes the old-fashioned 3, Winsu was gonna do the inbound, but it's gonna go to Rice instead. The Iowa State bench is trying to pump up this crowd. It is a home atmosphere for the Cyclones. I even think I see some Drake fans that have kind of followed over from the game, and they definitely don't like Washington State, as we eliminated them in the round of 64. If you did not check out that broadcast, that was something else. That was a game for the ages. 61-66 final. As Wells hands it off to Winsu, who drives in the lane, tries to put it up, does not get it to fall. Jones gets the rebound. He tries to get it up. It does not fall. Curtis Jones with the rebound, bringing it back the other way. Lipsy finds Gilbert, tries to put it up. He draws another foul on, I think that's going to be attributed to Yakimovsky this time. So good thing it wasn't Jones, because if it was, you don't want your leading scorer to be in foul trouble with literally over 5 minutes left to go in the first.
Iowa State finally decided to get out of bed right now. This crowd has been behind them the whole game, but they've just now decided to put on their shoes and walk out the door.
Well, I think they were just expecting it to just walk all over us as they tie up this ball game 16-16, because that was kind of the understanding, is like WSU did not have a chance here, but now it's kind of being a ball game. Gilbert lines up for the second, and he makes it too. Iowa State now has the lead as they kind of present kind of a full court press. It's Demarion Watson, who was kind of doing a punk fake on WSU as we made our way up the court. Rice trying to drive down the lane, pulls up back. He finds Winsu out to Wells. Yakimovsky open in the corner. Wells takes the shot, though. It goes down. He puts his finger to his mouth. Shh. Everything is okay inside CHI Health Center for the Coug fans. Gilbert now setting it up to Lipsy. Back to Gilbert. Tries to drive down in that lane. He misplaces him, stumbles, finds Milan, who does the same course of action, stutter steps, gets in there, tries to pull it up, does not fall. Jones there to get the rebound.
Momcilovic has had a pretty rough start to this game.
Momcilovic, we haven't been saying his name a lot, and thank goodness for me, because I've just been saying Milan, and I'm going to keep doing that as Wells draws the foul! Oh, that was crucial! And he's saying his words and barking his tune. The Wheatfield underdogs have something to say. Oh, boy. 4-29, 21-17. They have made themselves in that lead. 4 points. It's a 2-possession lead for WSU as he goes to the line.
Good job weathering the storm. Pun or no pun intended, take it how you will. But a really good job weathering the storm. I mean, you can't get behind and let Iowa State get into this game. They're a phenomenal team with momentum. That is one of the best things that they use as their energy source is momentum.
Misses the and one. Yeah, they've seemingly found the bathroom. That's the safest place to hide in your house when a cyclone is coming. And that will be a foul, though, on WSU. That will send the Cyclones to the line. That was a shooting foul. I was waiting to see if it was on the floor or not, but that was very clear. Lipsy is there.
2 fouls on Isaac Jones. It's going to be Clough coming into the game, probably getting Jones out of this, so he probably for the rest of the half. I don't know if we'll see Jones again.
That's a little bit concerning as Taemin makes the first.
So Jones only has 14, so our star watch for this game was Jones and Momcilovic. Momcilovic is now on the bench right now with 0, and Jones only has 4 with 2 fouls on the bench. So some other guys are stepping up, which is good to see.
We know WSU has depth. What would you say about Iowa State's depth as he makes the second?
Very similar, and Iowa State's a 2 seed for a reason.
Okay.
They have a great team. They have great depth. Their starting lineup's one of the best, but their bench players are highly underrated.
Beat UConn,
yes.
Number 1 team in this tournament, as Yakimovsky out to Wells, to Rice, to Chinyelu, all loving that near side wing corner area.
That was Winsu.
That was Winsu, excuse me. Is that going to be a foul?
Yeah, foul on Watson for Iowa State.
Wow.
Just too much into him. You can't, there's that personal bubble rule, which some people think is ridiculous. Some of us. The rule is you can't intrude their personal bubble. I think that's like in the rule book. It's like their personal bubble. How do you define a personal bubble? It's basketball. You're supposed to get close. I don't know. I don't understand it. But good news for us is that was a foul on Iowa State, so we'll take it. But another media timeout here.
And as it's a media timeout, we'll take a timeout. You're going to have more music. You don't have to listen to those commercials. You're listening to Cable 8, Emmett, Bryz-Gornia, Davis, Hagen alongside this game. We'll be right back in the action. 21-19. WSU is up by 3 with 4 minutes left to go in the first.
He's better.
We're back inside Omaha with Isaac Jones on the bench with 2 fouls. That's going to be something to watch as Rice gets the inbound for the Cougs. But it's seemingly, that was close to being a 5-second violation, but it is good for the Cougs as Wells pulls up that shot very easily, put another 2 up on the board, 23-19 inside CHI Health Center. Gilbert out to Lipsy, tries to drive down, good coverage from Rice. Nice extra pass from Curtis Jones, who drives into the key. Up, Clough gets the rebound, though. No cigar for the Cyclones.
I've been really impressed with our defensive rebounding. We're looking fantastic right now. Very, very impressed with how Washington State has come out and delivered the first punch.
Wells getting that off-ball screen from Clough, had a little bit of extra room, makes the extra pass to Winsu. Yakimovsky trying to get it, but Winsu drives down in the lane, finds Wells in the open corner, 2 seconds left on the shot clock. It goes down. He brings himself into that short corner and gets that 2-pointer for 25-19. WSU lead with 6 points.
How about this? Wells has 16 points. Iowa State has 19. Jalen Wells by himself is almost outscoring the Cyclones. How about that potential MVP of this region?
Gilbert passing it out, making it. Curtis Jones tries to draw the foul, and it falls! Wow, what a crucial bucket for the Cyclones. That was impressive from Curtis Jones. He drives from that corner wing area, finds his way down in there. He kind of does like a hook jump shot, that's circa 1960s.
Wow.
And it bounced around, finding its way down into the net, and he goes to the line. Lipsy, that finds his way. A talented individual.
Lipsy, first team all Big 12.
Yep.
So he's a great player, and he had 17 against South Dakota State. But Lipsy is a guy that is just so hard to predict what he's going to do. He's kind of like Rice. He's quick, but he can also slow things down, and he's a good post-up guard too, which is pretty rare nowadays.
As things get a little bit louder, Lipsy trying to draw the crowd up as he makes his shot, making it a 1-possession game. Chinyelu tries to set up a screen for Wells. Winsu to Chinyelu. And it is out on Iowa State, or on Washington State, so the Cyclone fans get exactly what they wanted, and it's going back the other way.
Chinyelu, a phenomenal player, and he's going to develop really well, but I think right now as a freshman, this moment, sometimes his catching the ball in the offensive side will come. His defense is absolutely incredible.
Lipsy tries to drive down the lane. He finds an open man on the wing, far corner. He gets the shot down. What a dagger of a 3-pointer to tie up this ball game. 25-25 inside 2 minutes. Man, this is a March Madness basketball game. Holy smokes. Miles Rice drives down in the lane, tries to get some open. He gives Washington State back the lead. Butch is loving it. Nice little clap, nice little applause clap, as if he was in an opera house or whatnot. It silences the arena, though. Milan out to Lipsy. Lipsy trying to drive it down. He finds a way, slaps it away. It's Chinyelu. Get that junk out of here. Ooh, boy. 1:30 left to go in this game, and WSU is keeping their claws on their defensive attack.
We just touched on Chinielu's defense, and right there sends it into the first row. Phenomenal athlete. Chinielu's my favorite player to watch in warm-ups because he's just so effortless when he goes up and dunks it.
Line to Curtis. Curtis making around a little bit stutter step. He's on the free throw line trying to get that shot to go down. Rebound from Iowa State. It doesn't go down. Yakimovsky gathers the pill, and now it is WSU ball with 1:10 left in this first half. Yakimovsky setting up that play design, slowing things down. Rice is telling Yakimovsky to come into that low post. He finds his way to the center ring. It's open space for Rice, taking that pull-up jumper. It does not fall, though. Clones getting the rebound. Gilbert, nice shove pass. Finds an open man, and he ties it up. 27 all.
Good alley-oop from Gilbert, realizing that he was going to get his shot blocked, goes instead of a shot to a pass, and it's tied up. This crowd is absolutely insane. It is all red in here because it's Washington State and Iowa State, but there is a lot of yellow.
Rice, with 25 seconds left, there's a little difference, though, on the shot clock. 8 seconds left as Yakimovsky tries to pull up from inside the key. Nice block from Iowa State as they bring it back the other way. Chinyelu trying to set up a good defensive front. Oh, Yakimovsky comes out of nowhere, gets the rebound for WSU. Wells setting up that three-point shot. He takes it. It does not fall. Chinyelu, will it go off? It does not. It's a 27-tie ball game at the half. Wow, Davis, I was not expecting a ball game like this. What are your thoughts digesting this first half?
This first half is incredible. If you're a Washington State fan, you have to be so proud of this team for coming into Omaha. It's only a 2.5-hour drive from Ames. This stadium is filled with all of the enemy, and you're in the Beehive right now against all this red and yellow in the crowd. There's not a lot of people here in Omaha left to support you because the seats have been bought up by Illinois and Iowa State fans, and to come out and play that first half like they did, tie ball game, no better feeling right now for Kyle Smith than realizing that this game is within reach. Even though Iowa State goes on a little bit of a run, it's really, really good job by Washington State in that first half.
WSU knew they were going to be in a twister with this matchup, but have seemingly found the eye of the storm. And with this 27-27 tie ball game at the half, we're going to give you not all that junk of TV ads and whatnot. We're going to give you a little bit of halftime jazz. And you're listening to Cable 8. Thank you so much. Keep commenting, liking on that video. We're so glad you're here with us inside Omaha during this March Madness magic.
Since his arrival in Ames as the head coach, TJ Otzelberger has stressed his defensive philosophy. The Cyclones have locked down nearly every opponent since he took over, holding 89 of the 102 opponents below their season scoring average entering the game. It's 27-27, live from Omaha. I'm Davis Hagen alongside BG. And BG, how are they doing that?
Well, let's first talk about how it's 27-27. Our season average is what, like 75? So normally around halftime, it's like around the 35 to 32 benchmark. So we're doing better than expected. They normally hold opponents to less than 20 points of their season average. And look, let's be completely honest. No one knows how the Cougs are doing this. Kyle Smith doesn't even know how the Cougs are doing this. And the reason why I say that is it's because of that defensive melt pot as Isaac Jones leans down in the locker room, pounding the floor, praying to his superiors and whatnot. That's the thing is you don't know. Kyle Smith doesn't know what's going on. And so how is the other team going to understand what's going on?
Exactly. That's a great point.
And that's the thing is they're the best defense in the nation, and they have a really good offense because of how good their defense is, and because they play each other in practice, right? They don't know, they haven't seen anything like this because this has never existed before. And it's not like it's Drake or some non-Power 5 program that's coming up with this new idea. WSU is still a Power 5 program with the tallest starting lineup in the NCAA. So it's not just, you're doing this interesting look that no one, even the head coach, knows what the heck is going on. But you also are physical, you're big, and you're just a menace to this other team. And so, like you were saying earlier, Iowa State is forcing shots that shouldn't really ever be forced. They're like doing these hooks and backs and whoop-de-la. And of course, some of it's going to go down, but the law of averages, that's not going to happen most of the time. And the stat that you've been liking, and I like it too, second chance. We've only allowed Iowa State 1 second chance point, and I think that's in tandem. You have that defense, but then we have forced 10 turnovers. Exactly. And then when they get that turnover on us, we've only allowed them to have 1 point of those 2 turnovers. That's huge.
Yeah. Beating them at their own game. They're the best in the country at the game that they play, which is forcing turnovers and playing good defense. They're not getting those easy runouts and getting about 10 to 15 extra points. And Momcilovic has 0 points. We had him in the Star Watch in the Open. 0 points for Momcilovic. That's just absolutely incredible defense. He averages 11.2 a game, and he has 0.
Well, let's be completely honest. Number one is it Houston or UConn?
Houston is number 1 by 0.2 points per 100 possessions, so it's really close.
Well, we should ask ourselves who makes the poll, because it looks like WSU with the defense that was in February going up against Arizona and beating them in McHale Center, or as our Coug fans like to call it, Beasley of the South.
Yeah.
Beating them again back-to-back years. Is this defense, would you say, in conversations, maybe not number 1, number 2, number 3, but at least top 10 defenses in the nation?
Yes. The thing about the statistics is
Period. Okay.
They can lie, but yes, I do believe Iowa State this season, Iowa State's defense is on another level. And so
then what's WSU?
WSU's defense this season
It's on cloud
probably
9?
Yeah, I mean, for our program, yes, this is by far the greatest defense we've probably ever had. We're like in the top 25 of defensive efficiency.
Wow.
And it's only separated by a few points. So in some of these games where maybe against Oregon and Colorado we gave up a lot more points, that can skew the results. And so realistically, that's why we're in the round of 32, because we're one of the best 32 teams in the country, and we're one of the best 20 defensive teams.
Well, I also need to say this. Coug fans that were packing up Beasley, 10,000 strong, largest basketball crowd in the state of Washington during those March months, this is a different team. This is the February team that we're seeing right now, not the Cougs of March.
That's
it's
right.
Weird.
It is weird, but it is so exciting, and we are right at midcourt with Momcilovic inbounding to Taman Lipsy, and we are underway from the second half, 27-27. Cougars in a 2-3 matchup zone again to start the second half. Lipsy on the top of the key, passes to Trey King, back to Lipsy, drives right hand, backing down Miles Rice, puts it up with the right, gets it to go, 29-27, Iowa State. Early offense in the second half.
Look at the pressure from Lipsy. He's kind of having that full court pressure. It's an interesting look from Iowa State.
Otzelberger definitely got on him at halftime, and Ted pick up the intensity. Wells picks it up over half court, throws it out of bounds. The pressure from Iowa State, these first two possessions of the second half, Wells barely got over half court and just chucked it out of bounds, and Lipsy scored a 2-pointer. So this is a kind of a danger zone 30 seconds into the second half, 29-27. Iowa State in control. Lipsy at the top of the key. Gets a screen from Momcilovic. Still in control of the ball. Swings it to Momcilovic, guarded by Yakumovsky to Robert Jones. Back to Momcilovic at the near wing. Three-pointer on the way. Doesn't get the roll. Rebounded offensively for Lipsy. Out to Gilbert on the far side. Drives in. Gets stopped by Wells. Back out to Lipsy. And he's going to get hip checked by Wells. And that's probably going to be a tripping foul on Jalen Wells. So this is kind of interesting, giving up an offensive rebound. They don't get a second chance point because they fouled him, so the shot clock will reset to 20. But you were just talking about those second chance points. Offensive rebounds have been something that we give up a lot of this season.
Yeah, we have. It's like, 10 to 15 a game.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's bad if you don't understand how your defense works, is there's going to be a lot of miscommunications. We're seeing a lot of that tonight, or at least in the first part of this second half.
Momcilovic in the corner for Iowa State, picked up by Clough. Jumper from the near corner goes, and that's a 2-pointer for Iowa State. 31-27 Cyclones. Minute 15 gone in the second half. Crowd on their feet and engaged. Cougars need a bucket to stop this little run. It's a 4-0 run since the start of the second half. Yakumovsky on the near wing. This is the first real possession for the Cougars of the half. Jones on the far side against King. Backed into a corner, and King rips it away from Jones, and a foul on Isaac Jones, his third. Most likely going to go to the bench. And a timeout called by Washington State. Kyle Smith scratching his head, doesn't know what to do. The crowd is on their feet. Iowa State locking in the second half.
Yeah, and they're feeling themselves. They keep on shaking their heads up and down, and they're feeling pretty passionate. Look, they're passionate about it now, but do you hear the crowd? It's chanting a little bit, but it's since died down. And that's exactly what Kyle Smith needs. That's why you take that timeout, you reset, you're like, hey, fellas, all right, that got a little out of hand there.
Yeah.
Let's reset now. And look, he's going to have a full timeout, and so they're going to try to chant. But I think this is just what WSU needs. We're going to reset now.
I like the timeout call. The media timeout doesn't come for 2.5 more minutes, so that's a long time to play. And the way Iowa State came out, they threw the first punch. Washington State threw the first punch of the first half. Iowa State throwing the first punch of the second half, and on a 4-0 run, Washington State hasn't even had a shot yet of the second half. Jones finally got the ball into the corner, and he just got hounded by Trey King and turns it over and then picks up a foul. So now he has 3 fouls. Do you think Isaac Jones will go to the bench, or do you think we need him in the game, obviously, but do you think he'll go to the bench? There's still 18-24 to play, and he only has 2 more fouls until he's gone.
Well, and if we look at our bench has not scored any points tonight. So
yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough. That's the problem. You can't foul 80 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
You just sometimes, when you know you have 2 fouls, you just let them go. And it's a really, really hard thing to do as an athlete and as a competitor, but sometimes you just have to do it and stay in the game. But 3 fouls on Jones is a huge thing in this game.
Well, let's talk about this. Watts came in there for 2 minutes and 52 seconds. Chinyelu came in there for 2 minutes and 37 seconds. If you heard that loud boo, an Iowa fan was in the crowd, and I don't know, we had this conversation with our Uber driver. I've never heard a stadium get so loud. It was filled with Iowa State fans during the Alamo Bowl on an Iowa guy, the one guy there. That's for context. Let's go back into things, though. I got sidetracked. Squirrel! Yeah, Watts has had a little bit of time in there. Winsu came back in there. Why do they keep showing the Iowa fans? I don't know. he's only taken one. Winsu has taken one shot. Watts has taken one shot. Chinyelu hasn't taken anything. Chinyelu's more defensive-minded. We know that. But, like, if they get the opportunity to take more shots, I think that might fruition into some more points. Because, I mean, let's look at this, too. Iowa State has only taken 4 3-pointers, 4 3-point shots. They've made 2 of them. And so, sure, they're at 50%, but if you don't have those opportunities, of course you're not going to get points on the board.
Iowa State back out of the timeout. Lipsy to Gilbert. At the top of the key, screen from Jones. Trying to get a back cut, doesn't get it there. Wells, good job fronting. Robert Jones at the free throw line to Trey King. Inside left-hand layup goes in, 33-27. Iowa State, 18 minutes left in the second half. It's a 6-0 run to start the second half for the Cyclones. Winsu has checked into the game. Yakumovsky on the far wing, trying to get Clough back to the Wells at the top of the key. Rice on the near side, squaring up Lipsy. Screen from Clough. Free throw, top of the key, three-pointer on the way, doesn't go, tapped around and in. Might get a credit to Winsu on that one. And that's the way Washington State gets their first bucket of the second half, is on an accidental tap-in.
It doesn't matter who gets attributed with it. It just feels good that we scored something.
Gilbert, top of the key, three-pointer on the way for Iowa State. Rebounded by Winsu and a foul called on Iowa State. That's on Trey King, his second foul. Washington State holds Iowa State to 0 on that possession. Cougars trying to weather the storm, but it was a 6-0 run for the Cyclones. Washington State had the last bucket. Now they're back on the offensive side. Rice drives inside, leaves it for Clough, puts it up, doesn't get the roll, but it does actually roll in. Oh my goodness. Oscar Clough with a lucky bounce.
Making that extra pass. Rice could have taken it, and it might have not gotten in there, but he trusted his teammate. Love to see it.
That was like almost all the way out and somehow goes back in. Normally you don't see him fall in for you like that. Rice nearly jumps over the top of Lipsy, and he enters it into Jones, and puts it up and misses it. Hits the deck. Winsu clears it for the Cougars. Back the other way for Washington State. Get it to the point guard of Wells, but Winsu he's so lanky. Sometimes it looks like he's losing his dribble, but he still has it on a string. Double team comes up the baseline for Clough. King and Jones there, and that's going to be a cylinder foul. As we were talking about this in the first half, the personal bubble foul, that's on Iowa State. Clough was trying to pass that, but they were just pushing up too close on Oscar Clough.
Oh, of course. It all relates back to a block can be called when you're guiding the person. So if you extend your hand, that can be a block. It also can be a hand check. And so people get confused when you're making that call. Well, you're affecting his area. And so they were backing him into a corner. No one puts baby in a corner.
Winsu at the top of the key, ducks inside the lane, puts up a floater, doesn't get it to go. Curtis Jones pulls down the board for the Cyclones, back the other way, going right to left. Jones at the free throw line, stepping back, Rice all over him. Bounces inside to Hassan. Clough did a good job of trying to poke that one away. Gilbert drives inside, gets Clough in the air, puts it up, and gets the and one for the Cyclones. The shot goes, and that's tough for Washington State. Sometimes you just got to let those go. You're not going to get the block shot. And an and one for Gilbert, 35-31 Cyclones.
And I think it's going to be Yakumovsky attributed with that. Even though Clough was going up, Yakumovsky came from behind, and it was the far referee. So the referee, it's a three-point triangle. For those that are unfamiliar, there's a ref that's kind of closer to the baseline as he makes the first. There's one ref on the baseline, there's one that's on the free throw line, and then one that's on the division line or the half court. And so it was the half court ref that made that decision.
Crowd getting into the game again for Iowa State. Only a 2.5-hour drive from Omaha. And that's out of bounds. Wells throws it off the defender, and the double teamed in the corner. They keep going to that left corner and getting pinned. It's going to be immediate timeout. 36-31 Iowa State, but BG, the Cougars keep going to that corner, and the double team keeps coming, and they're just trapping themselves essentially.
Well, and Wells was very smart just to throw it off on his knee. He knew the media timeout was coming, and so using that high-level IQ, we don't talk about player IQ enough. Wells drawing fouls, Yakimovsky understanding situations with screens and whatnot, and then Wells understanding that he sees that double team, just hits him on the knee. If it was a lesser team, that would not be said. And I think there is a high level of intelligence. We talk about defense, we talk about offense, but the thing you don't see is brain. How do you work your brain? And they go in there nerd ball, as Kyle Smith likes to call it, and they work as a team with set designs, with screening and whatnot. And so that right there is a key component that won't be seen on the stat sheets and you can't really see up in person.
We'll take a quick break, be back on the other side. You're listening to Cable 8. (36-31), Iowa State leads, 15:46 to play in the second half. BG, what has turned around for Iowa State in this second half?
Speaking of turnaround, it's all about the turnovers. 5 in 4 minutes for Iowa State. Washington State, but Iowa State getting that
possession.
Forcing
those.
So, you're not going to win a basketball game if you're going to be turning over 5 times in 4 minutes. Oh, boy. Getting me all worked up over here, Davis.
Winsu across court to Wells, hounded by Gilbert. 4 to shoot. Does Wells know it? He does. Top of the key 3 on the way, and an air ball turnover from Washington State. Out of the timeout, you get that shot. Just being really influenced by the Iowa State defense. 15.5 to play, 36-31. Taman Lipsey, all Big 12 first team honors. He has the ball, screen from Hassan Ward. Top of the key, being backed off by Chinyele with a lot of space, about 10 feet between them.
This is like an extreme zone. It's weird.
Gilbert inside, ducks underneath, blocked by looks like either Winsu or Wells. Either way, it's coming back.
That was Winsu, yeah.
For Washington State, Yakimovsky in control. Right-hand dribble, picks it up. Bounce pass to the outside, far wing. Jalen Wells to Winsu at the top of the key. Picked up by Lipsey. With a lot of a height differential right there. Miles Rice with it. 10 to shoot for the Cougs. Drives inside. Left elbow. Puts it up. Airballed. Might have got deflected by the Cyclones. Rice. Far corner. Got it.
Oh! He has not made a lot of three-point shots in, the past 2 months?
They're going to call that one a 2. His foot was on the line. His foot was on the line. So it's 36-33. Curtis Jones has the ball at the top. Left-hand dribble drive inside, right-hand floater. Doesn't go, gets his own, puts it up. Winsu battling for it, comes out with it, and a foul called on Iowa State.
Yeah, because he came in there, he reached underneath his elbow, and as soon as you make meat-to-meat contact and start ripping at it, then of course you're going to draw that foul, even though if you're going for the ball, because Winsu already established possession.
36-33, just a 3-point lead for Iowa State. Washington State really needs to get something on this possession. Rice drives right hand to the baseline. Underneath the hoop, swirling the drain. Out to the far wing, still in control of the ball.
He should have taken that shot.
12 seconds to shoot. Gets it to Yakimovsky at the top of the key, trying to penetrate. Rice, 5 to shoot. At the top of the key, right-hand dribble to the elbow. Puts it in from the mid-range jumper. 1-point game. Miles Rice with a lucky shot.
It's like a student studying for a test with 11:59 left before midnight. Oh, getting me heartburn over here.
Gilbert picked up by Wells at the top of the point. Near wing, crossover, picked up by Yakimovsky. Bounce pass inside, back out to Lipsy on the near wing. Step back three on the way, got it. 39-35, Cyclones up by 4.
I was waiting for that three-point shot. The Cougs are giving them way too much space. It's great for guarding in the key and kind of stopping that lane enhancement, but yeah.
Winsu pushes off against Watson. Offensive foul on Winsu, and he's got to be more under control. What do you attribute that to? Do you think that's just too aggressive or just not a mentally aware play?
Look, there's a lot of things being mishapped on WSU, both offensively and defensively. As he comes and checks out, he's having a long conversation with one of the assistants. What? They're kids. I think that's the thing we always forget about. At least this isn't the NBA. People make mistakes just as human beings, but they're college students too. And so, look, what do you? I'm not going to tell you what it's in his mind, why these mistakes are being made, what's going on. It's just they're college kids. That's it.
Ball got a little bit wet.
I wonder why. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are sweating like pigs down there.
So
It is
they
hot.
Wiped it off with a towel, and we're back on our way. 39-35, 12:55 to play in Omaha. Winner to the Sweet 16 to play, Illinois or Duquesne, the game following us. Curtis Jones near wing 3. Got it for Iowa State, and the crowd erupts.
Oh, boy, you need to get something going here. You cannot just wait to the last second to get a shot off. You need to have a dagger, and a dagger quick.
Wells gets it. Free throw line jumper, puts it in for Washington State, cuts the lead to 5.
Not flashy, but it does get something done.
How many stops do you think it would take for Washington State to get back in this one? Because obviously our shots aren't going down every time. Do you think we need 2 or 3 stops in a row here?
Well, statistically speaking, yes. I mean, 2 to 3 stops sounds about right. But I don't know. They need to start getting shots to go down.
Big Rob energy in the corner, nearly threw it away. Rice ends up in the stands. Jones was stumbling into the corner and just chucked it, and Winsu tapped it out of bounds, and Rice tried to save it, but he ends up in the media table. So Lipsy in front of the Iowa State bench to trigger. Cyclones up by 5, 12 minutes to play. Inbound to Curtis Jones, wide open for 3 at the top of the key. Rattles out. Yakimovsky pulls it down. Momcilovic back into the game. He only has 2 points on the day, averages 11 on the season.
That was a blessing in disguise right there. That 3 ball didn't go down, because if it did, that would be a tough morale.
Yakimovsky has the ball. Right shoulder taped up, got banged up in the last few regular season games. Step back 3 from the far wing on the way. Doesn't go. Robert Jones pulls it down for the Cyclones. Gets it over to Lipsy on the far side, bringing it down the court. Rice stumbles and falls. Corner, Curtis Jones open back to Momcilovic. He's going to fire from the far wing, and he puts it in. Milan Momcilovic, welcome to the show. This crowd is absolutely electric, and that's a problem for Washington State, and they're going to get a timeout, and it's going to get even louder. How do the Cougars weather this storm? They did it in the first half, but right now this cyclone is ripping through the barn.
It might be ripping through the barn, but the silo's still standing for the Wheatfield underdogs. I don't. I mean, you got to minimize turnovers. You got to be more physical with your defensive. You got to be playing less zone, be a little bit more man. You can be more adaptable. It's supposed to be a fluid defense. But can they do that? That's a whole different story. That's why I'm kind of hesitating. I mean, it's always simple. Well, Davis, you just need to grow a foot and be extra lengthy, put 50 pounds of muscle on, and just be LeBron James. And yeah, you're going to beat the Iowa State Cyclones. So it's easy for me to say that, but whether the application of implementing it, that's a whole different story. Partly maybe you can though make Iowa State more uncomfortable. They're getting more comfort in this defensive look right now, and if you can switch it up drastically and just have a hope and a prayer and that they're like, then you might have a shot, no pun intended, at getting the ball to start going down and have a shot at blocking those shots.
Iowa State is rounded into form in the second half. They've forced 7 turnovers in the second half. In the game, they have 17 points off of those turnovers. It is eye-opening to see Washington State play that first half, how well they executed everything on the offensive and defensive side. Now, things are just not going their way, and they're not getting shots to fall. They're turning the ball over, but hope is not lost. Hope is not lost. Washington State,
of course not.
Only down by 8. That's like 3 shots. That's
Yeah.
fine. The game is totally fine. You just have to keep playing. You can't give up. You can't just not attack. You have to keep going for the throat.
Well, and here's the thing that I think we should take a credit. I mean, Rice scored a 3 against Drake, and that corner shot on the wing, on the corner. I guess you call it a short corner, but he was on the
pretty far.
line.
He was pretty far back there.
And so that is promising. Like, he's starting to feel a little bit.
Yeah.
He always said he's comfortable in taking those shots, but they're starting to kind of fall down a little bit more. At least, knock on wood.
When your foot's on the line, you're basically shooting a 3. You're just an inch behind, so it's basically the same distance. But
so if he can shoot a 3-pointer at what he called in the press conference a couple days ago the most crucial time, then yeah, we're in this game.
45-37 back underway in Omaha. Watts is checked into the game. Rice has the ball at the point. Picked up by Jones. Can he get to the basket? Crossover, step back, 3 on the way. Got it! Miles Rice.
What was I just talking about? He found it. I think he's hit a different groove now, and that's how you're going to keep in this game if Miles Rice keeps getting those 3-point shots.
45-40. Cuts the lead down to only 2 possessions. Curtis Jones has it. Into the corner. Trey King drives inside on Jones, and he puts in a right-hand hook. 47-40. Isaac Jones back in the game, has 3 fouls. Has to be careful on the defensive side to not get his 4th. 10:25 to play. Again, winner goes to the Sweet 16. Jones has it for the Cougars. Dribbling right hand, double team comes from Momcilovic, and Isaac Jones puts up a floater and it drops.
Doesn't matter. I mean, it could have been a triple team with the center kind of playing inside the key there. He would have been fine.
47-42, 10 minutes to play now. Curtis Jones near wing 3-pointer on the way. Tapped around, rebounded by Isaac Jones. Miles Rice pushing the pace the other way. Picks up his dribble, back cut by Watts. Step back jumper from the short corner, near side, doesn't go. Isaac Jones gets the offensive board. Out to Yakimowski, far wing 3-pointer on the way, doesn't go. Hustling for it, saves it, and it's right into the hands of Isaac Jones after 2 bounces. Watts on the near side. 16 to shoot for the Cougars. Rice has the ball, guarded by Lipsy at the top of the key. Going to slow things down and go to work. Set up the offense. Slips and falls, loses it, and it's going to be a trip call on Lipsy.
Oh!
Huge call.
Oh! Wow! That's just what you needed. That's just what the doctor ordered, Davis Hagen.
Exactly.
Oh, boy!
I don't think that's the right call, but we will take it.
Yeah, you got to take your medicine, Hagen. Take your medicine, kid.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow. There's been some questionable calls in this game, and a lot of them have come into WSU's favor.
Exactly. Oh, wow. So Watson and Ward have checked in. Inbound from Watts to Rice at the H of the March Madness logo. Miles Rice with Watson on him. Near wing. Sizing him up. 10 to shoot. Top of the key. Bounce pass from Jones into Winsu, puts it up with the left and gets it to roll. 47-44, 9 minutes to play in Omaha.
And that foul relieves into a second chance right there. So getting those second chance points is crucial for WSU.
Gilbert has it for Iowa State. Alley-oop to Ward, blocked by Winsu, and they're going to call another foul. Kamani Winsu does not like the call. Rice and Watts trying to console him. He's walking down all the way to the other side of the court in disbelief.
Of all people to console him, it's Watts, who's the most volatile character on this team. Love him. Love the purple shoes. It's not husky purple, so we'll be okay with that. It's like a soft lavender purple, so it's nice on the eyes up here, but as he makes the first.
Yeah, Hassan Ward at the free throw line, putting in the first shot, 48-44. 6'9", 230-pound senior. He spent 3 seasons at VCU and was a 2021 Atlantic 10 All-Defensive Player, so he's got some experience under his belt. He's getting set to take the second free throw after the foul from Winsu. It's on the way, and it goes 49-44. Washington State back on the offensive side.
We watch Atlantic 10 basketball, but for those that don't know, VCU is a powerhouse in defense for the A-10. So it is fitting that he comes to the Big 12 for Iowa State, who's second in the nation in defense.
Isaac Jones to Wells on the far wing. Back to Jones. Dribble handoff to Watts. He's going to rise and fire for 3. Doesn't get the roll. Was too long, and Ward falling out of bounds, but he kept his feet in, it looks like, and delivered it to Lipsy. That ref has had 2 chances to call out of bounds, and it just, maybe he's got eagle eyes. He's right there on it, so we'll trust his instinct. 49-44, 8 minutes to play. Next dead ball will result in immediate timeout. Well, guess not. So there's going to be there's a dead ball, but not immediate timeout. It's not under 8. That's going to be a foul on Jalen Wells, who was too aggressive against Keyshawn Gilbert, trying to poke that ball away.
Sure, and here's the funny thing is if that ref wasn't there to block the ball, it probably would have been WSU ball. So yeah. I don't know who this ref is, but there's going to be a long conversation in the locker room about this whole game.
Momcilovic has it. Step back jumper from the right elbow, and he got it. 51-44. Iowa State up by 7 now. The lead was cut to 3 earlier. Now it's back up to 7.
How do you miss that hand check?
Yeah, Lipsy is putting on some full court man-to-man pressure on Rice, and he's been all over him with the arms. Physical play all around. Isaac Jones drives inside, left-hand shot fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line after this media timeout. Let's see who the foul was on. Number 4, that's on Watson, his second foul. So we have 5 fouls for Washington State and 5 fouls for Iowa State. Pretty even second half. The Cyclones have been hounding the Cougars, forcing turnovers, getting easy looks. It's 51-44, 7:39 to play. You're listening to Cable 8. (51-44) from Omaha with 7:39 to play, but let's take a look around the country, BG, at what's happening.
Well, our friends up in Spokane got the job done against the neighbor to Iowa in Kansas. Gonzaga beating Kansas 89 to 68. Arizona, our Pac-12 friends, I don't know what you want to call them. They beat Dayton of the A-10, 78 to 68. So they're moving on. UNC, that's University of North Carolina, the Tar Heels, the 1 seed, got it done against Lizzo's team, is 85 to 69. And right now, at the half, NC State or North Carolina State is going up against 14 seed Oakland, and they're winning 32 to 29 at halftime. Games to watch, though, today. Oregon's going up against Creighton, Illinois. The 3 seed after this game is going up against, as you like to call them, the Squints.
The Squints, baby.
Duquesne of the
Dukes.
Atlantic 10, who won the Atlantic 10. That was quite the surprise. And Texas, the 7 seed, going up against number 2 Tennessee and Dalton Connect.
That's
Man,
right.
that kid is a beast. I
Dalton
know you
Connect,
like Connect.
personally, my favorite player right now, other than Keisei Tominaga, but at least the last player remaining in the bracket, Dalton Connect, is an absolute joy to watch on television. Kind of wish Tennessee was in this region so we could see him, but Isaac Jones at the free throw line puts it in, 45-51. So back here in Omaha, 6-point game. Washington State has played a really good game. A little bit worse in the second half, just with turnovers and not getting shots to fall. Still in it. A lot of time is left to come back for the Cougars. Jones makes the second, makes it a 5-point game. 46-51. Iowa State in control of the ball and on the scoreboard. Gilbert in the near corner, and that's going to be a foul on Rice. Probably a pretty good acting job. Could have won an Oscar from Gilbert. I don't think there was all that much contact to warrant the kind of reaction that Gilbert had. Either way, it is a foul called. Not much to say about that one.
I'm not going to make a comment because
Yeah.
I'll probably have to hear about it later from someone.
Lipsy inbounds to Gilbert. Matchup zone again, maybe for the Cougars. It looks like it. Lipsy drives inside with the left at the block. Momcilovic trying to get open. He has not had a great day. Lipsy step back 3 from the near wing on the way. Got it! What a roll for Taman Lipsy. 8-point lead for the Cyclones. 7 minutes left. Washington State needs a bucket on this possession. Quiet the crowd. Turnover by Jones right into the hands of Lipsy. Fast break the other way. Pulls it out. Far wing gets Jones in the air. Bounce pass to King on the block against Chinyelu. Spins to the right hand. Fader on the way. Got it. 46-56. Washington State, it's slipping away from the Cougars. Rice at the top of the key. Swing pass to Winsu on the far wing. Entry pass to Jones at the elbow. Back to Winsu. Cross court pass to Rice. Out of bounds. Turned over again. 56-46, and it might get worse.
Heavy side. That's all I got. Remember what we were talking about earlier, what they can do and what the actual application is?
Yeah. Tough back-to-back possessions resulting in a turnover for the Cougars.
They just need to communicate, Davis. They need to communicate as a team. They're not doing that.
Lipsy firing a 3 off the back of the iron. Ward gets the offensive rebound. Gilbert puts it on the deck with the left. Spins to the right. Enters it into Ward against Chinyelu. Looking for a cutter. Passes it outside. Gilbert gets it. Dribbles in. Double team comes at the key. Loses it. Puts it up. Rebound Trey King offensively, and that's going to be a shot clock violation. Good defense from the Cougars to get a stop. Now they just need to score and keep doing that.
Man, that was like the circus. You had the clown in the corner. You had the elephant on a ball up on the key. Like, yeah.
Right, has it over the timeline. Pass to Jones on the far wing. Dribbling on King. Gets to the far near block, puts it up with the right, gets rejected by Ward, right into the hands of Chinyelu, and he puts it in. Cuts the lead to 8. Can the Cougars get another stop and build on this momentum? 56-48, 5.5 to play, a lot of time left. Iowa State in control. Timeout called by TJ Otzelberger. So 56-48. Iowa State has really dominated this second half, but Washington State's hanging around, trying to climb back.
Well, they just forced Iowa State to make a timeout.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's good news. I guess. I don't know. Like I said, that was chaos that was going down earlier on that last possession. Remember when I said Kyle Smith has no clue what the defense is doing? I don't think the defense knows what the defense is doing.
Yeah.
And Iowa State's about to go and talk about it, but they're not communicating with one another. So,
yeah, this has been a really interesting game. The winner moves on to play either Illinois or Duquesne in the Sweet 16. Last time the Cougars were in the dance was 2008. We touched on it in the Open. They lost to North Carolina in the Sweet 16. And this does not, right now the score doesn't look good, but there's still a lot of hope for Washington State.
Okay, if Washington State can somehow figure this out and then somehow compete against UConn, like this you don't need a Final Four. That's your championship. Whoever's winning this region, I think, is going to the national championship.
Yeah, one of the toughest regions by far. Lipsy darts inside, doesn't get the roll. Robert Jones gets the offensive rebound, and he's going to get fouled. Big Rob energy going up and getting a board, and that's going to be a foul on Yakimovsky. So that's his second foul. So that's still okay for Washington State. There's 5 minutes left. Yakimovsky only with 2. Robert Jones at the free throw line puts it up. Doesn't get. Robert Jones was a transfer from Denver. This is his 3rd year at Iowa State. He shoots it just about 50% from the free throw line. Misses the first.
Chinyelu comes out, Watts comes in, Yakimovsky goes down to that low block, and Jones goes to the other side for the rebound setup.
And Jones puts it in right at his average, 48-57. Full court pressure from the Cyclones, backs off. Under 5 minutes to play in Omaha. Washington State needs a bucket. Rice picked up by Watson. Crossing over at the near wing. Drives inside. Steps through. Kicks it to the top of the key in Isaiah Watts. Step back 3. On the way. Doesn't go. Tapped out by Jones. Rebound Lipsy.
He should have drive down. I know he's a flashy guy and wants to get that 3-point for the team, but he needed to drive down in the paint and get some bucket.
Lipsy double teamed. Finds a way to get it to Watson, who turns it over. Pretty hard pass to Gilbert in the corner, and it goes right into the hands of the Iowa State bench. And Washington State with a stop, but they need to get points. Yakimovsky puts it into play for Rice. 4:25 to play, 57-48. Rice has the ball to Jones. Top of the key, guarded by Robert Jones. Watts, far wing. Passes to Wells at the top of the key. Jabs. Gets a screen from Jones, picked up by Robert Jones. Step back 3 at the far wing. 3-pointer hit the glass and the rim. Offensive rebound for Rice. Working on the baseline. Swings it to Yakimovsky, and he turns it over. So Iowa State's defense is causing all kinds of havoc for Washington State, and they just can't get anything right now. Under 4 media timeout, BG, is there anything that Washington State can do in this timeout to help them?
Don't turn the ball over. Communicate with your teammates. Get the defensive rebounds. Make them feel more pressure, man to man. Don't go zone. If you go zone, then that gives them enough space to take those shots. And, but whether or not that will actually happen, Davis, I don't know. I got nothing.
Well, we'll take a quick break and be back with the last 3:54. It's 57-48. You're listening to Cable 8. 3:54 to decide a winner. It's 57-48. BG, we were talking on the break. Iowa State is not an unbeatable entity. It's just basketball. It's a 9-point game. There's still a lot of hope for Washington State. You just have to make shots and get stops.
I think that's where my frustration stems from. This team in Washington State can beat Iowa State. It's very plausible.
Absolutely.
It's very, I'm not saying easy because I'm some, 20-year-old up in the booth. What the heck do I know? I'm 6'3", which is I would be the same size as Miles Rice, and I have nowhere near as quick a speed as Miles Rice. But they can do it.
Yeah.
They have it in them. And as WSU's huddled around Iowa State's huddle, which I find that kind of interesting, they can do this. And like you said, Drake came back. We were down by 6 with less than 2 minutes to go in Drake. So, it just could be WSU pulling a WSU where they're just going to speed run CCCCC on the rest of the exam and try to get a 70% and get a degree out of this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very plausible, but sabadoo. What are you going to do?
3:54 left to decide a winner and advance their season by one more week. Inbound to Lipsy. Jones is on Lipsy. That's an interesting decision. The bigger Jones on the smaller Lipsy. Ball finds the way into the middle with Curtis Jones. Ducks inside, puts it up, and gets the roll for Iowa State.
They're
11-point lead.
Too much space.
Yeah, that was way too much space. I don't know who was supposed to be guarding him, but there was nobody on him. 59-48. Washington State can't let it get out of hand. Bounce pass to Jones. Double team comes. Back out to Rice. Nearly turned over. Near wing. Drives right hand baseline. Poked out of bounds by Lipsy. 11 seconds to shoot for Washington State. Still plenty of time.
Well, remember our Washington game when Washington was doing this seemingly exact same defense and we had open men on the corner?
Right, exactly.
We need to get it to Yakimovsky, who's open right now.
Inbound to Wells at the near wing. 5 to shoot. Ducks inside with the right at the elbow. Gets fouled, and he looks like he's going to go to the free throw line for 2 shots, and that's really important for Washington State, getting to the free throw line, putting in points with the clock stopped.
Really important. You're down by 11. This is going to be a lifeline, Davis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, we were down on the court before the game, and it's got an interesting feel to it. It's very shiny, and we were there with no fans in the stands, and it was intimidating as Wells puts in the first. There are a lot of fans in here. It's nearly sold out, so the pressure is real shooting free throws. It's not a gimme, but Wells is a really great player, and he makes the second free throw on the way, and he knocks down 2 of them.
19,000 to be exact.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, and they're almost all against you. So 59-50 our score. 3 minutes to play. Lipsy in control, gets it to Gilbert. That was a dangerous pass, nearly stolen. Robert Jones on the near block. Momcilovic back out to Gilbert. Drives left hand towards the baseline. Momcilovic, near wing 3, on the way, got it. And the crowd erupts, and that's a dagger to the heart for Washington State.
Quit playing zone.
Rice.
Can they hear me? Quit playing zone.
Wells steps back, bounce pass to Chinyelu on the far block. Double team comes from Gilbert, looking to get rid of it, and he throws it over the head of Miles Rice and out of bounds. Turned over again. That is the 13th turnover from Washington State, and it's a 12-point lead for Iowa State. The Cyclones ripping through the countryside.
Ripping through the Palouse.
Yeah. Gilbert has it. 2:15 to play, 9 to shoot for Iowa State. Crowd chanting ISU. Gilbert pull-up jumper, doesn't go. Rebound Wells. Washington State pushing the pace. Still hope. Alley-oop to nobody. Picked up by Chinyelu when he puts it up for 2, and he gets fouled inside. He'll go to the line. That was an alley-oop attempt, but Chinyelu didn't even realize it, so he just was pretty much just a really weird lob pass. But regardless, Chinyelu was at the free throw line. Not necessarily our best shooter.
Chinyelu's wingspan is greater than a bald eagle, which if you know what a bald eagle's wingspan is, That's pretty long.
Yeah. Chinyelu shoots 48.9% from the free throw line. First one on the way off the back iron.
So basically, Wells can do an alley-oop to nowhere, and Chinyelu can grab it.
Yeah. Does not help you on free throw shooting. Big guys seem to struggle, and I think it has to do, I don't know what it has to do a lot with, but the wingspan doesn't really help shooters.
Yeah, the mechanics and whatnot. Yeah, I agree with you.
So Robert Jones, big Rob energy for Iowa State, checks out. Curtis Jones in. Chinyelu, second free throw on the way. Gets it to go, nearly at his average too. 11-point game, 2 minutes to play. Washington State going to go with full court pressure, try to cause some turnovers. Iowa State only has 5 turnovers on the day. Curtis Jones to inbound. Gets it to Lipsy.
Don't
Under
foul.
2 minutes to play. Yeah, Washington State needs to just play this out, see if they can get a stop. 20 seconds on the shot clock. It'll be around a minute and a half if they can get a stop. Lipsy guarded by Watts. Just right at the half-court stripe. Iowa State's going to initiate the offense at 10. Here comes a screen from Trey King. Lipsy has it on a string. Jockeying inside to King. Puts it up. Blocked by Jones. Tapped around. Back to Jones to Wells. On the far wing. Elevating for 3. Doesn't get the roll. Isaac Jones trying to get the offensive board, and that should be a travel, and it is. Traveling called on Trey King because he went up with the rebound and fell to the ground. You can't hold the ball and fall down. That's going to be a travel every time. Excuse me. That's a travel on Gilbert there. Or maybe Trey King. Could see who exactly it was. That's travel on Trey King.
It doesn't matter. It's WSU ball. They're gonna sub their starters out with some guys on the bench.
Yeah. Well, minute 25 to play, 11-point game. If Washington State can hit a three-pointer here, that would be huge. Inbound, has to come. Gets it to Yakimovsky. Near corner, firing it for 3. Wanted a foul, doesn't get one. Falling on the ground, holding the arms up. And it's Curtis Jones for Iowa State with the ball. Minute 15 to play. Cougars season in the balance. And it's not looking good. Trying to play this out, but Iowa State is in firm control. Under a minute to play. Lipsy drives to the basket. Gets the offensive rebound off the missed shot. Gilbert has it.
Foul.
15 seconds to go.
Foul. The whole coaching staff is saying foul.
Wells is not
looking.
fouling. Rice finally comes in and picks up a foul. Washington State has shot themselves in the foot time and time again tonight, and that might be the reason they're not going to walk out of here with a win and get on a plane and go to Boston.
Look, the whole bench was going like this to foul, and no one was looking. This is the problem. You have to communicate. You can be as smart as you can be as physical as you can, but if you don't talk to anyone, if you don't communicate and work as a team, oh, brother. I mean, Washington State lost this game, and you can have some solace in that.
Iowa State puts in the first free throw. That's Curtis Jones. 12-point lead for the Cyclones. It's a tough scene right now in Omaha. Still 43 seconds to play. Misses the free throw. 12-point game. Wells pushing the pace. Got to get off a 3 pretty quick. Near wing, three-pointer. Wells airballs. And Yakimovsky hustling to save it right into the hands of Curtis Jones. Snaking through the defense. They got to get a foul. They don't foul. Lobbed up ahead to Robert Jones. Exclamation point for Iowa State with the dunk. 65-51. 25 seconds to play. Yakimovsky brings it over the half-court stripe. He's going to not shoot a 3. Got to shoot that. Watts puts up a 3. He gets it to roll. And it's 65-54. And they're hanging their heads. 17.9 to play. Cougars call a timeout, but this game is that's everything can be said, about this season being one of the best of all time, and it won't be a failure. You win a game in the NCAA tournament. That's what's going to be remembered. This game is unfortunate for sure, but proud of this team for sure. Proud of this team and how they've played. The bright side is Iowa State is one of the best teams in the country, and we we hung 54 on them, which is not all that much, but we only let them score around 65 points. Not the way you want to end your season, but it is what it is. And only one team at the end of the year is going to go out without a loss.
Yeah, exactly. That's how the name of the game is. And most teams in the country, they're going to end their season out on a loss because they're either playing in the NCAA tournament or they're playing in the NIT. There's only two teams that are really going to end on a win, and that's the national champ and then the NIT champion. And that person is the 69th best team in the nation. So, look, yeah, you can – it's not over.
Not
over. Still have a little bit of optimism.
11 points in 18 seconds would be something that has never happened in the history of the world. But it is not impossible.
You don't know if it's history of the world. There could have been like some Lithuanians that got it done.
I feel pretty confident in that.
Shout out to the Baltic brother.
Lipsy to inbound, running the baseline. Gets it into Gilbert. And he jukes out Isaac Jones. Still no foul. Curtis Jones has it.
Why are the refs
and
not
there's going to be a foul called now. 8 seconds ran off the clock. Yeah, there looks like they're trying to get a foul. And normally it's a pretty quick whistle. They don't call a foul until 10 seconds left, and it's going to put Curtis Jones to the free throw line, who is a 79% free throw shooter. Pretty good at that, so that's not good for Washington State. And 8 seconds came off the clock, so now you have to score more points than there is time.
Iowa State wants this game to be over, but kudos to the Cougs. We're going to go out. We're going to go out our way.
Yeah.
It's not going to be we're going to give up and let you win. We're going to have a little bit of dignity before we get on out of here.
Makes the first 66-54, 10.7 to play. Look, don't be sad.
Oh,
it's awesome that we made it. It is unfortunate that we're going to lose this one as he puts in the second, 67-54. Don't be sad because it's gone. Be happy that it happened. 5 seconds to play. Miles Rice going to have the last say of the season for the Cougars. Free throw line jumper on the way. Puts it in, and the shot will count. But the game is over. It's 67-56. Iowa State moving on to the Sweet 16. Congratulations to the Iowa State Cyclones on continuing their season. Washington State, it is an unfortunate end to what was a fantastic season. But again, only one team or two teams in the nation are going to end their season with a win. So Washington State getting an NCAA tournament win for the first time in 16 years. One of the best teams ever. And the final season of the Pac-12 to finish second in the conference and then end up losing in the semis. All around great season from Washington State. We were picked 10th in the Pac-12 preseason poll.
Yep.
And to end up in the round of 32 in Nebraska against Iowa State, that's pretty incredible.
Hot take, I think Iowa State can and will beat UConn and go into the Final Four. I think we just lost to a Final Four contender.
Absolutely. And there's, it is nice as the Washington State lineup is waving goodbye to the band and the fans that are here and supporting them. Shout out to all the Washington State fans that made the trip and everyone listening. It was a fantastic season, and Iowa State's season is going to keep going. And it is a team that you can root for sure.
Kyle Smith, Miles Rice come immediately over to the Cougar section. The Coug fans are applauding. They're cheering. And it doesn't even look like we just lost right now from the Cougar faithful. And to be honest, that's how I would react too. You just be so thankful to hang around with these guys. We were not even supposed to compete against the Cyclones. You're completely right. And this season, whatever happens, if Kyle Smith goes, if Miles Rice goes, doesn't matter. You're going to have this, and that's it. That's all you need.
Well, we stepped up to the plate. It was a fastball coming down the middle, and we swung. It was a swing and a miss, but we go down swinging.
We beat Drake. I didn't think we were going to beat Drake.
Yeah. I mean, we hit one home run our last at-bat. We missed it. Some baseball reference.
Let's hope it's not another 16 years before we get here.
No, I don't believe so. This is a program-defining season. I think this this is something that can spur us on, even though we might be playing in the WCC next year.
Yeah.
This is going to cause some momentum to build into the future. And Kyle Smith's a great coach, and I sure hope he stays, and I sure hope as many Cougars can stay. It's a great place to be and a fantastic program, and everyone counted us out, but we made it to the round of 32. That's better than 330 teams in the country. So, fantastic season. Any last thoughts before we send it off for the final time?
Yeah, let's talk about next year. You're going into the WCC. A little context. For those that are like a little bit skeptical, is Kyle Smith going to stay on or not? He's trying to work out a deal. I know that's being in the talks right now. I think that's going to happen. What he's said so far, and just by the looks of his tenure being at Santa Clara, being at San Francisco, both WCC schools, he likes the West Coast, and he likes the WCC. He just wanted to move up, and that was with WSU. He likes the WCC atmosphere, that it's just basketball. They're not football schools, and so that atmosphere is everyone is invested in the basketball. And WSU kind of right now has been kind of that mindset of we're a basketball school. At least that's been said on campus in the sports information director office and whatnot. Basketball seems to be the focal point now, and we're kind of moving away with not football still a priority, but it seems like Kyle Smith wants to stay on the West Coast in the WCC. Will he go to Washington? I don't think so. He's not even in the talks right now on their list. They're looking at guys on the East Coast to fill in their program. So you're right. I think what he can build, he's got a great foundation. Watts, I think, can definitely come back because he's going to get more playing time. Chielu would want to come back to get more playing time. Jones is going to be gone. Wells is going to be gone. I really like the buildup. It kind of seems like an FAU where they had these juniors and now they're seniors. I don't think we're going to be out of the first round like the Owls did, but I think the setup is there. Would you agree with me on that?
I would agree, and it'll just be really interesting to see what happens, and just keep your tabs on Washington State athletics, because something big's coming, I think, and this is just the first stepping stone.
And let me take this opportunity to thank you, Cable 8. Thank you, Johnny Lupinacci. Thank you, Silas. Thank you, Shelby, WSN. All the people that have been influential in helping this broadcast here. We're sitting in Omaha.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That's we got this stream working. We got these graphics. Thank you to the bottom of our hearts. Yeah. It wouldn't have been possible without you listening, watching, helping. This is incredible that we get to do this, Davis.
Yeah, well, we will send it away for the final time. You were listening to the Cable 8 live stream of the Washington State men's basketball team. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being yourself. Until next time, I guess. It was a great season. Tough way to end it, but final score, Iowa State 67, Washington State 58. See you later.
Go Cougs.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's it. Goodbye.